You're now tuning in to the Ambitious Views podcast, where we share unique perspectives on storytelling within film and television from the past, present, and future. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So let's get to it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ambitious Views podcast. I am your host, Corrigan, and this is my great companion, Blaze. How you doing, Sister Blaze?
I am good. How are you, Corrigan?
Doing pretty good. Got some good sugar in my cup going on right now with my hot chocolate,
Hot chocolate?
Yep.
Hot chocolate in the summer? Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You're just craving it?
Yeah, and it's free and it's downstairs, so I just...
Oh, well, go for it.
Yeah, as I should, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't drink hot cocoa in the summer, but then again, it's free. And one thing I learned from college is take that free shirt, take that free candy, take that free drink.
There you go. That's how you got to do it. So, but cool beans. We have a very interesting episode for today. We're going to be talking about a couple of things that's been going on around us, and then we have a unique topic for today, and we are going to discuss TV shows that really made us proud to be a kid, and so I think that's going to be kind of fun. I'm interested to see the shows that Blaze thinks about and want to talk about what they did for her back in the day, about 30 years ago. And so
Whoa, don't age me. You pushing 30.
Wow. Wow. Okay, Blaze. Let's be civil in front of our listeners, please. But anyway, so we're gonna be talking about that. I'm looking forward to it. Who doesn't like nostalgia and stuff, especially if it's not oversaturated, shots fired. But anyway, but anyway, first we're gonna jump into the this or that. So, Blaze,
What's up?
Growing up, we always got to see great shows with great friends, right? And we always learned about how it's important to be a good friend and be friendly and make friends when you can along the way, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can definitely think about a lot of shows that fit that narrative. Yeah.
So I want you to choose which best friend would you rather have? Would you like to have Chelsea off of That's So Raven or Harold off of Hey Arnold, Arnold's best friend?
It's been so long since I've seen Hey Arnold. But Chelsea was a little bit too annoying for me. So even though I don't really remember the type of friend that he was, I go with Harold.
By default.
Hmm?
Pretty much by default, you're going to pick Harold.
Pretty much. I can't deal with somebody that's that annoying. Only small doses,
Mm-hmm.
So I just couldn't deal with Chelsea.
So did you not like Beans off of Even Stevens?
Beans was annoying. Very annoying.
I should have asked which one is more annoying.
Yeah. Beans.
Audrey, why are you laughing? Anyway, so what is that?
What would you pick?
I would pick Harold. Harold is a homie. He was always cool. He was always putting Arnold on game. It rarely ever put him in situations he didn't need to be in. And he was always down when he needed to be. I like Harold. And he was a brother. I mean,
And he was a brother, exactly.
You said you barely remember the man.
I knew he was. I mean, I knew he had a black friend. So,
With the hot
but I
top.
don't. I'm saying I don't remember anything about him, his character, the traits that he possessed and stuff. But I know he couldn't have been as annoying as Chelsea. I would have remembered that.
Hmm. All righty then. I guess that's that then, huh?
That's that.
You so funny. What you been watching? What's on your watch list, Blaze?
To be honest, I really haven't been watching much. Um, this past week and this past Friday, Hill season 2 started. So I started that and it was good. They do one episode a week on Stars.
Okay.
And this first episode, it really showed you like how I think like growing up, you look at these people that wrestle and you think like, oh, they probably got a lot of money and stuff like that. But also think about the thousands of people out there who are like on the independent scene. They do not have thousands of dollars, but they love this. That's what they want to do with their life.
Right.
And when you take something like that away from them, I don't think we talk enough about like the mental health aspect of it. And so
Yeah.
the first episode of season 2 really dived into that. And so it's good, and I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season will go. And then since I haven't really been watching anything, I was bored, and so I was like, I'm gonna just rewatch this show called Panic, Amazon Prime. It came out like maybe 2 years ago. I thought it was pretty good. Unfortunately, it didn't get renewed. And I read the book too, and the book was pretty good. But I feel like rewatching it. So I'm watching it. I'll probably be finished rewatching it sometime soon. If not tonight, probably tomorrow. And then I saw that Winning Time is coming back, I think this Sunday. And so I may be rewatching season 1 to get ready for season 2. And that's on HBO. I'm sorry, that's on Max.
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 Somebody's dog was named Max on something. Was that Doug?
I don't like animals, so I don't really pay attention to.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow.
When I first started my current job, like my coworkers would always be trying to talk to me about their animals, and so I just made it be known from the beginning I don't like animals, and they still kept talking to me about their animals, and I'm just like, I don't care. And one time my coworker was like, I know you don't like animals, but let me show you something really cute that my pet did. And I was like, oh, that's adorable.
Well, anyway, my watch list uh isn't too, it's not much to it, to be honest. Overall, I will say I'm gonna jump back to a couple things that I haven't mentioned, I don't think, in the past. One thing that I watched a week or two ago is My Nephew Emmett. It's a short film about a different POV of Emmett Till. Like it focuses on
Oh,
the point of view of his uncle. It's a short film
oh,
that actually was Oscar nominated, and it was written and directed by Kevin Wilson Jr.
mm-hmm.
He's also the one who directed the And One documentary on Netflix recently. So,
Oh, really? I'm gonna
yeah,
have
yeah,
to check that out because I enjoyed that N1 documentary.
yeah, it's really good. I think it may be around close to 20 minutes.
Okay,
Straight to the point.
that's not.
Jasmine Guy is in this as well. And so it's really dope. He did this, of course, before the And One project and stuff. And I try to keep up with the work that he does and everything. And I think he may be working on something else or was working on something else and stuff like that. So, but definitely looking forward
No,
to.
is it a documentary or is it a short film?
Yes, it's a short narrative film. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, short narrative film. I
Hmm.
really like it, especially just to show that different side. And I think it kind of, oddly enough, I think it came out right before or right after, I think right before the Teal movie. had came
Mhm.
out, which I still gotta watch that. But yeah, no, it's good. I think it is worth having because I don't know what aspects does Teal address, but I assume that it's more so focusing on his mother as opposed to this is like when he's already there
Mhm.
in Mississippi with his aunt and uncle and just kind of giving a brief experience of
So you
that.
didn't go see Teal?
I did not. I did not go see Teal, but it's always been on my watch list. I just got to remember to turn it on the TV. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I had started laughing because my cousin, she wanted us, like all the girl cousins, to get together and go see it. And I
Mm,
said respectfully, I don't want to see that right now. I
mhm.
I just didn't want to. That seemed very sad to watch, and I was not in the mood to watch something that, strong and powerful and sad, and. But like you said, it's on my watch list. I just have to be in the mood for it because I know the emotions that it could possibly bring out.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, that's definitely understandable. Because I would even say, did you watch Lovecraft Country?
No, because I didn't have Max at the time that it was coming on, and so I just haven't went back and watched it yet. And also I have this thing. I have this thing too where unless I watch the show as it was coming on and it gets canceled, I don't watch shows that only have one season. I don't. I don't want to fall in love with that show for it to be done. It's different if I was watching it as it was coming on. I had no choice but to fall in love with it. But if I got the choice to not fall in love, I won't. And so everybody talks about how great it is and how much it needs to have a second season. I'm not trying to drive all the way to LA to go fight Max for cancer. So yeah.
Uh, oh my gosh. Okay, Blaze. First off, I almost get where you coming from with the whole you have your stipulations. I'm the same way. If I'm not able to watch a film within the first 2 weeks, I'm probably not going to be able to see it because I love the experience of watching a film in the theater full of folks experiencing things along
Mhm.
with myself. But although I want to say to me it didn't get canceled, it just didn't get continued. And the reason why I
Mhm.
say that is because the show itself ended. Like
Oh,
it was not gonna continue at all. Um,
so it's kind of like, so it gave you the vibe of like an anthology series.
yeah, like I've never watched True Detective, but I think it was gonna be in the style of that. Like from my understanding, True Detective is like none of the seasons connect. So it's like whatever happened in this one season is gonna be a totally different focus for the next season. Like it's always, I think, another detective or something like that.
Okay, well then when you put it like that, that's different. If it's an anthology series type, then I wouldn't mind watching it.
Perfect example. Did you ever watch them?
Prime.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it. It was a little much, and so I didn't finish it.
Okay, so I definitely recommend you finish it, especially since you into that type of stuff. Secondly, I would say it's kind of like that. You remember I told you that they get ready to come out with another one, and it's going to happen in the '90s, and so but this one happened years back. I think it was like '50s or '60s when this first season came out or whatever. So it's like that. So the episodes back to back within that season isn't necessarily anthology, but the seasons itself
Mm-hmm.
are anthology. So because when the writer and director or just writer of Lovecraft Country revealed what she was wanting to bring, it had nothing to do with what was. So it's a
Okay.
clean as is.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's different.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
made it seem like, it was gonna be like a continuation, like a normal show. But okay.
No, it was just, I mean, how it ends and all this stuff like that, to a certain degree, you kind of wonder how things are gonna be after. But it's also based off a book, and if that's the way the book ends, is I feel like it's only so much you can take out to make or whatever. So like the next piece was definitely, I think, gonna be very original.
I may
Because
read the book before I watch the show.
no, you should watch the show so we can talk about it. Thank you.
But no, if I read the book, that's gonna actually make me watch the show.
Well, then now I gotta wait for you to read the book.
Lovecraft Country. Let's see. Oh, I'm not reading it. I mean, I'm not listening to an audio book. 12 hours. Let me read this. Oh, it's available. I may borrow it tonight. I gotta see how many pages it is. If it's a lot of pages, I'd rather watch the show.
Yeah, because it's a pretty quick watch. This is actually also the show that I feel like kind of put Jonathan Majors on the map as well.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
So yeah, but really overall great ensemble. I'm forgetting her first name, but Smollett.
Mhm.
She, in it,
Yeah,
she does.
she's in one of my. She's in. I won't say one of my favorite movies. Probably my number one favorite movie is Volume.
I've never watched that. It's on my watch list.
I love that movie. I can recite key scenes from that movie.
I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, like so,
It's a weird movie.
I would imagine. But yeah, definitely check that out. But anyway, the short film is great. You can watch for free on Amazon. I think you just have to create account within it. It's like a sub account that you create. But after you do that, you can just cancel it out or whatever, unless you want to keep on watching other things. So but yeah, so my nephew Emmett, really dope, by a dope writer and director. Secret Invasion, we finished that this past week.
Give me your opinion. Come on, tell me, because the internet has not been telling me. Because you made it seem like I need to watch, but the internet is making it seem like I need to skip.
I'm not gonna say much about it, yeah. Yeah, well,
Okay.
there's beginning and a middle and an end.
Do I need to put it high on my watch list of Marvel shows or low?
Um
Like,
uh
like you told me to watch Miss Marvel. I watched that. If I were to watch another Marvel show to make you happy, would that be the one that you recommend?
you don't have to watch that now, because in my personal opinion, the way everything shapes out, it has no impact on what's to come. It was a very isolated situation.
Okay.
I would say similar to WandaVision, but at the same time, there's a carryover from WandaVision into Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange.
Okay.
So if you haven't finished WandaVision, I would say finish WandaVision.
You put a little bit too much emphasis on that finish.
Yeah, because you haven't, and then definitely do Loki. The rest of them, from my understanding, because I haven't seen, gosh, it's a few of them I haven't really technically seen. But I have to, let me see, because I haven't seen Hawkeye. I haven't seen, what's the name of that?
Let me write down the ones you haven't seen.
Oh my God. That one. It's the guy Moon Knight. I haven't watched Hawkeye, I haven't watched Moon Knight, but I think I've seen everything else. Oh, now What If is really
Yeah,
good.
you told me that was really good.
That's really good. If I would have to rank, I try to not rank cartoon and live action, because I feel like outside of the work that's put in, it's easier to manipulate and make things more like just the way you want it in animation stuff compared to live action. But overall, I put What If is number one. This is a toggle between, well, What If is number one, Miss Marvel number two, WandaVision is number three, and Loki is number four.
Okay. I can watch those.
Yeah, at
And
least
then I'll cancel my
ready.
Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah, at least be ready for Loki season two because it's gonna turn up.
When
I
does
feel like
that come out?
October, beginning
Okay.
of October. Mhm. So you got time.
I got time.
You got time. You got time. So yeah, so finish Secret Invasions is cool. Um
Mhm.
wasn't expecting the ending the way it went. I thought it was going in a different direction in a sense. But overall it was fine. Um, but I can see compared to what we're used to, compared to what we got at the end, how some people kind of felt like a little, different, or there was a different expectation of what they felt like things should have ended at the end. So, but
Was the
overall,
journey to the ending good though?
the first three episodes are great.
Mm-hmm.
Like like people die. Like it's pretty. It's probably one of the most grounded. I will now let me back up and say, to me, it is one of the best grounded films, grounded shows
Mm-hmm.
that Marvel has put out. I would definitely say that it's,
Okay.
to me is better than. I enjoyed this more than I did Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier. I mean Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we've been watching the Barbie HGTV show, pretty much well-known developers and real estate agents come together and design different parts of the house based on a certain decade. And so it's pretty cool.
That's so
Basically,
cool.
like, so the last episode we watched was like one team had to design the front part of it and the front part of the house, and the other team did the backyard and stuff like that. And so the front team, one of the cool things they did, they put a handle on the top of the house, so it's kind of like a briefcase Barbie house kind of vibe.
That
Uh,
sounds adorable.
yeah, so it's a pretty cool thing. So we've been enjoying watching that. And the last thing that
Are
we,
they like real houses?
yeah, like it's one
Oh,
house that they
okay.
and like you put a team in different places. And like,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So like back actually, yeah. So like one team was like they had to do early 2000s, their decade, and then the other team was like the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to design their areas based on the decade that they were in.
That's actually a neat little idea. I like that.
And it's so smart because I think this upcoming week may be the last week, maybe. And they're smart about what they did because this easily does additional marketing for the film.
Yeah. Oh, this is intentional.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was intentional. The
genius.
marketing for this Barbie movie has been incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Haven't seen something like this in a very long time. And it's like, are the budgets just that small, or people just not that creative when it comes to marketing anymore?
Right.
So very smart. And I will say a cheat code is the fact that like Barbie as a brand is like as big as freaking Mario. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a lot is that's worldwide. People familiar with it. It's pink, so it's catchy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure this is gonna change things. Like there was just a Super Mario movie, and I bet they probably watching this Barbie advertising and like, dang, we should have did this and we should have did that.
Yeah. Which I mean, apparently I still haven't seen it, but I heard it was really good and they
Mhm.
did really great in the box office too. So yeah. But the last thing you should be proud, Blaze. We finally started Bear, the TV show.
Ooh.
So it's been on the watch list for a long time. We finally checked it out and just really have been enjoying it. I know you mentioned about times you felt a little stressed at
Yeah. Like I'm in the kitchen with them.
yeah, but one of the things that I'm really loving is the very unique way of the cinematography. Like the
Mm-hmm.
cinematography adds on to the stress. Cause
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize it during the first season, and I'm pretty sure they probably keep up in the second season. The reason why you felt so stressed is because every single moment we're all in their face. Like
Mm-hmm.
every emotional moment, we're all up in their face, or we at least chest up, all the stuff like that. We're not far away. We don't get to watch them. We're literally all up in their grill, seeing them go through
Mm-hmm.
their characters, go through these different moments that's going on. And so, and I love like the grain. So it's kind of like the 90s, 80s vibes with the picture and everything like that, the saturation of some moments to kind of bring out the colors, but then have some harshness in it as well. I'm just really loving the artistic approach to this. I love the fact that it doesn't take forever to tell a story of one episode. You
Mm-hmm.
out and it's solid. Looking forward to the next one. And ultimately, man, the character development
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. I don't know what the future is. Like I said,
Oh, it gets better in the second
we
season
just
in terms
finished
of
up with
character
episode
development.
maybe 5. I think we finished up with episode 5. But Bear, like we just finished up with the moment where Bear was talking to the guy who is heavily inspired by his creativity and he's into baking and stuff like that. He's always eating
Mm-hmm.
up every little detail. Man, like the moment where like he got caught up with experimenting and learning something and he was trying to bake the cake at the last minute. Uh
Mm-hmm.
Basically he blew the fuse. And so he basically came and confessed that, he was part of the reason why I messed up. And I loved the way Bear approached the situation. And I told Aja, I said, he is a great leader.
Yes.
He
Yes.
is,
Because he knows what bad leaders look like, and he's trying everything in him not to be like that.
mhm.
But also, I think that he is a good person.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah. And I love his character because I feel like this is what a hero is, quote unquote. This is what a leader is, or whatever like that. Like this is it. Like it doesn't have to be nobody cookie cutter or perfect. They have
Mm-hmm.
their own personal issues. But I love the fact that, hey, but when I step into this place where I have expectations and people are leaning on me to take care of my job or hold something down, I don't allow what I got going on at home or personal to put that on anybody else. I may not be
Mm-hmm.
perfect. I may not have the best energy every single day, but I'm gonna be there for the people who are dependent on me,
Mm-hmm.
and not come off as if I have it all. And that's why I like he may not bring it on him, but you definitely can. They even can tell that sometimes, okay, yeah, he's not that perfect. Like he got some
Mm-hmm.
stuff going on, and that's what I'm loving about his character so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you're saying it's getting better, I can only imagine. So
Mm-hmm. Did I just say that that's what being in the food industry is like?
she said early on she could definitely tell because at some points I had to just kind of lean back in the couch. I'm like, man, this is intense. The first 2 or 3 episodes,
Yes.
and she said that excuse me, she said that they they did used to get a little bit intense in the kitchen, and she can imagine it getting kind of to those levels, but not that intense to where it's like, dang, like people about to almost throw down. But it
Mm-hmm.
can, depending on the night and the demand and stuff like that, it can kind of get like that at times. But even for her, she said it was pretty intense for what we've been seeing.
I would say I hope she wasn't triggered.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And another thing, I think we was talking about how even though Bear is labeled as like a dramedy in a sense or whatever, I will say I feel like it's a true drama. Like sometimes hard times is just straight up funny. And it's like I don't even feel like it's like written to be comical in the sense. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people,
It's very realistic
yeah,
writing. Like it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Like it's just straight to the point, down to earth. Like that's just how it is. So just very interesting overall. Really looking forward to going through it. I'm not even gonna lie, what motivated me even more, I was listening to the podcast on Proximity Media, which is Ron Coogler, Zinzi Coogler, and I forget the other, Pete Nix, and I believe the other guy's name is Self. But anyway, they all founded Proximity Media, and Pete Nix and that's another film that I watched. I knew I watched something else, but Pete Nix, who is the director of Anthem, which is the documentary that I mentioned a while back, that came out. And so, did I say I watched Anthem?
Yeah.
I did last week.
Not last week. I feel like it was maybe a few weeks ago.
Okay, so I've watched it recently then.
Yeah, because I remember I think you showed me the the trailer before we started an episode. Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah. But anyway, they was talking and Ryan was about to he was about to mention something about Bear, but he hadn't gotten to some point or whatever. I was like, dang, Ryan even watching? I was like, dang, this is like somebody on Bear. I just feel like I'm just really tickled about it because literally I've been having that on my watch list since it came out, just because it was cooking. And I feel like it's something Audrey and I watch, but I just never put it up for us to check out. So
I didn't know what it was about, so I didn't really pay that much attention to it. But I'm happy you mentioned like the cinematography, because I think that's really probably what drew me in, because I saw like clips of it on Twitter, or I guess it's called X now, whatever. But I saw like clips of it, and I was like, "What is this?" And I would watch those little clips, and I'm like drawn in just based off of the stuff that I was seeing, and so that's probably why I ended up watching the show.
Yeah. But going back before we going into the real take, I did watch Anthem. Very unique, very good. The ending of it is definitely worth getting to. And I really love the history that was added on to bring truth to some of the areas. So the truer concept of it is that the different areas that they go to in the country, they do the history on. They go to Mississippi to talk about the blues. They go to New Orleans to talk about jazz. They go to
Detroit. Oh yeah,
Detroit.
okay. So yeah, we did talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so they go to those different areas and talk about it or whatever. So it was definitely pretty good. So if you haven't watched it, definitely recommend that y'all check that out and stuff. But on to the real take. So couple points before we get into the main topic. Basically, the WGA, I saw a post on social media that they finally going to have their first meeting since they went on strike. I believe this coming Friday. So we're going to see what's going to take place. I will say it's very interesting now because the initial strike started with them. And so say if it's one of those things that they may start leading to a negotiation, or say that they finally come to an agreement, now it's kind of one of those things. I wonder what's going to happen now moving forward, at least with the Screen Actors Guild, because I think you sent it to me that the Screen Actors Guild has been postponed as well. The award ceremony, which is something I usually enjoy because it's supported by actors and it's a very inclusive space. Just a really great award ceremony that I like to watch. And so, sorry. So I'm interested to see what are going to be the reactions, say if it does go into WGA's favor, what is SAG going to do in response to that, and will some other things, happen in return? Because I'm definitely down for people getting what they need, but at the same time, I know some truth needs to be brought to that, and I really love for people to finally get paid, and because I know they're striking and stuff like that, but I know it's taking a toll on their families and stuff. So I hope something gets done soon. And films are getting pushed back,
Yeah.
We saw about Spider-Man, Beyond the Spider-Verse, I believe that's the new one. That's in March, and so it's been postponed indefinitely. And I gotta bet indefinitely just means that they don't have no time at all. So Craven, the Hunter has been pushed back, and a couple other things have been pushed back, and they have a date. I think Bad Boys 5 is still going to be coming out.
No, they pushed it back.
Okay, So it's not coming out in the summer anymore?
Nope.
Okay.
And they
So yeah,
pushed back that Zendaya movie that was coming out, I think it's September. They pushed that one back too.
which, you know, unless they're gonna lean heavier on marketing and going to talk shows, I do feel like that's a project that's so unique. It's gonna need the best marketing to really push forward because I don't know, it gives me independent vibes and it speaks to a very specific crowd. Those who are interested in tennis, Zendaya, and just a scandalous seeming project. So so that may actually work out in their favor, to be honest, I feel like so. But yeah, but yeah, that's that. But on to the main real take of the evening. Blaze. One time I was talking to, you know, some colleagues and they was talking about, you know, the way youth is nowadays culturally and how it compares. And one of the things that I've kind of paid attention to that I feel like is different from how it used to be with us, especially the shows that's just out now and stuff like that, is that I don't feel like society helps kids, preteens, and teenagers enjoy being their age group at that particular time, especially when it comes to the content that we have. And even when with the content that's out, you know, and not knocking the projects because I do enjoy them, but I feel like sometimes they are so mature in the situations that they're in that it's so far fetched from reality of what a child of like 10, 11, 12 years old, all the way to 16, 17 truly experience, you know, it's like in the South in a sense. Uh, and so I feel like one of the things that came to mind is that, you know, they don't have the great TV shows that I feel like we grew up with. You know, I know
They
I got
don't.
3 years, you know, on you, but still like you saw a lot of TV shows that I saw, and even a little bit after me, they were still pretty good, you know. And so I feel like that hinders in the sense of the experience, the expectation of, you know, how that can be and stuff like that. So today I just want to have a brief talk about like when you think back on it, Blaze, what were some TV shows that really made you feel passionate and proud to be a kid, to be a teenager, preteen, all that jazz? Like what were some shows that came to mind?
Oh, I got a list. Okay, so
Okay.
I mean, I'll start back with like when I used to get ready for school in the morning. I used to watch Saved by the Bell and Boy Meets World. You
Okay.
know, those
Yeah.
two shows, like Boy Meets World, especially showed me like from middle school all the way to college. So I was like, my life about to be like that, you know. And then, I mean, Saved by the Bell was the same too, because they went all the way to college. So, like, those are the first two that I think about: friendships and first love, getting your driver's license, getting your first job, all of that. I got that from those two shows very early on. And then, like you said before, like, I'm a Disney kid. I mostly watch Disney. And so I think about shows like Lizzie McGuire, which was primarily like middle school, That's a Raven,
Yeah.
Even Stevens,
Mhm.
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, you know, all of those shows. I watched all of those and they were all pretty kid friendly, and talked about like kid or teen issues. And then if you want to think about like the drama route, um, if I was at home like at 8 o'clock in the morning, or if I was sick or something from school, I knew that I could watch Dawson's Creek. And so I would watch Dawson's Creek, and that was all about teenagers to college. Yeah, teenagers to college. And so I learned about that, and it got me excited about being a teenager, like in that drama sense. And then even thinking about the early years of, or I won't say the early years, because the early years of Degrassi was like the 70s, and I didn't watch all of that. I started watching Degrassi in 2000, Degrassi Next Generation. And so that was a huge part of my life as well, because they used actual teenagers um, in those years on Degrassi. And so I felt connected to them, and I learned a lot about, growing up from watching Degrassi.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you nailed it on the head with like a lot of the ones you've already said, like you said, from Lizzie McGuire to That's So Raven. Um, Boy Meets World is definitely top of my list. Like I actually a year or two ago, before we moved back into Central Arkansas, well, in Little Rock or whatever, I had started watching Boy Meets World because Ajin had never seen it, I don't believe, or watched it and even she was getting into it. We'll probably jump back into that and finish that up because we hadn't gotten to the part a little bit after. You remember the scene where they got locked into the high school that night?
Yep.
Oh man,
I love that episode. Oh my
class.
gosh, they killed Kenny.
Yes.
Like from South Park.
Yeah. So like, but yeah, like, definitely Boy Meets World, Lizzie McGuire. Um, I would even say, like I said, Hey Arnold. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that was a big one for me. Uh,
Recess.
I wasn't big into Recess. I was
Oh yeah,
like,
you didn't watch a lot of Nickelodeon.
I wasn't big into Recess, but I ended up getting the Recess movie, and I really did enjoy that. So that was really good for me. All that was an
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable game because I feel like the comedy was like definitely on
Kid
my age.
friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um, what else did I see? Oh, Smart Guy, like that was huge
Oh
for me.
yes, smart guy.
Smart Guy, Sister,
Proud
like
family.
Proud Family. It's
Moesha.
yeah, I didn't get I didn't get him.
What? I'm gonna need you to get into Moesha.
Yeah, I might give it a try one day. I might. So, Audrey wanted me to tell you that I did get into the Parkers as well.
What?
I did.
Okay, I give you Moesha, but the Parkers you gotta get into.
I didn't like it.
Oh wow.
As soon as I heard the intro, I immediately returned it.
The intro is iconic.
It was. I would say overall, I watched a good chunk, but it just like I'm a person. I'm not big on high pitchness. So when things start
Okay.
getting high pitchy and all this stuff like that, I'm like, yeah.
No, I understand that. I
But
understand that.
definitely, I don't knock people who like it because they did do some cool things. I remember one episode. I think Kurt Franklin came on and stuff like that or whatever. So I remember some things from it, but I just wasn't the biggest fan of the Parkers.
Okay.
But no, and I think going along with I mean, even Home Improvement passively, I wouldn't watch it as much, but passively I watch it and it was pretty straight.
Mhm.
But ultimately, you know, all of those shows are going on showing like family, especially even black families and stuff like that,
Mhm.
working with one another, like really good. I mean, you can get all the life lessons in the world from Mr. Feeney.
Yeah, all of them.
And so yeah, so I just really enjoyed it. And I will say, like, on top of that, like, Disney, I feel like they did a great job with producing Disney Channel original movies that
Mhm.
were
Mhm.
really brought you in and put you in this, at least for me, put me in a space of just like, man, like I love it, from
Yeah.
Double Team, that was a pretty good
Oh,
one.
so good. That was so good.
Double Team to like, of course, the High School Musicals, My Day with the President's Daughter. I'm still waiting on that to
Mhm.
come out. What was that?
They used to play that commercial and that song, My Day with the President's Daughter.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah,
got stuck in my head for life.
with her, like
Uh-huh.
so cool. Like, man, it's just so funny, man. Like, but they did so great with, the shows, and I will say, man, like I've thought about it for a while, but like if I would be blessed to have the opportunity to produce some things to just, even if it's not a narrative thing, even maybe documentaries, just having conversations, I do think it's very important for kids to teenagers to see themselves on TV, but not always seeing themselves in the space of where they're forced into adult situations.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's all that's kind of out there. Like I've only saw one episode of uh Euphoria. But from my understanding, I mean, that's even though those things can happen, you know what I'm saying, to a certain degree, some of the things can happen, like that's very extreme.
It's very, very extreme. Like the first season came out when I was still in the classroom, and a few of my students were watching it. And I was
Wow.
like, well, why do y'all like it? Because it's very graphic. And they're just like, it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of drama. Like we can see that stuff happening. And I'm like, but is that stuff happening for you? No.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, of course they do drugs. Like they probably smoke weed or something like that. But they're not out here doing these hard drugs, you
No,
know.
no, not
And
at
so
all.
I just, but the weird thing with like, and everything that you're saying too is like, Euphoria is a show that, if I'm not mistaken, is rated like MA. It's rated mature, I believe. And it's like, how can you have a show about teenagers that's rated MA? That, like, I think about that. That's weird to me. If I want to make a show about teenagers, obviously I want to make this show for teenagers. And so I got to give it a rating that they can actually watch. And so I wonder, I wish that we, like, I always compare things to Degrassi, because Degrassi used to have the tagline, "It goes there." And they did. They would hit these really heavy storylines that came out very realistic. Like, yeah, you know, kids probably do experience those things, but they didn't, even though their tagline was that they go there, they never went too far.
Yeah.
And they couldn't go too far because the actors that they used were kids, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, can we please go back to those days where you know, show what teens are going to, but you don't go too far and make it almost inappropriate.
Yeah, well, I mean, almost. I mean, for a kid, it is inappropriate. I think the most amazing part, and that shows that there's less content out there that they desire to watch that's more so on their level, like they've been
Mm-hmm.
pushed that space, is because
Yeah.
why in the world is a high schooler watching that?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you even have access to even be seeing stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like, why is that okay? And I think
It's the
that's my
norm.
yeah, like it's becoming a norm. And my thing is like I know that Hollywood tries to keep up with trends and what they feel like people are getting into and all this stuff like that. But sometimes I feel like also in hindsight, Hollywood has to understand and accept the fact that they set trends and expectations in society as well.
Yeah, because I mean, the whole theme of the real take is about talking about those shows we grew up watching, which means that there was a market for it and it lasted a long time. Like
Hmm.
we were excited to watch that new Disney movie that dropped on a Friday or a Saturday. We were
Hmm.
excited about watching the new episode of Lizzie McGuire. Like they would do a new episode of Lizzie McGuire, and then right after that, a new episode of Even Stevens. You know, we were
Yeah.
excited about that. And like I grew up with brothers. My oldest brother is 8 years older than me, and the
Hmm.
other one is 5 years older than me. So while I'm watching Disney Channel, you know, my oldest brother, he probably watching Real World, and then the other one is probably watching I don't know, Pokemon or something. Probably not Pokemon, probably Real World with my brother, honestly. But
Yeah.
there was variations in what we liked and what we watched. And it was like as I got older, then I kind of was started paying attention to the stuff that they were watching. But I had to get older to see that, to like even care about those stuff.
Yeah.
Now I feel like we completely wiped out like the Disney thing, even though they still make Disney shows and stuff. But kids are kind of really bypassing that and going straight to like the more mature stuff. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's a market that we still need to cater to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just making sure. I mean, I think it's one of those things, bringing coolness back to those eras and stuff like that. And I do feel like there's a way to do that without making it childish. I mean, Boy Meets World,
Mm-hmm.
dang near, I mean, that's as real as it can dang near get.
Mm-hmm. Especially for a comedy show. A
Yes,
comedy show that was a kid's show.
yes. Very, very, very deep at times. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like
um
if you think about the whole arc of Sean's dad passing away, or just how he dealt with being abandoned by so many people and stuff like that, like that was some really deep stuff.
very, very. So yeah, like it's some I don't know, it's just a very unique time. And I will say that, like, out of the things that I would like to create, I would love to be a part of being able to cater back to that audience or help kind of rebuild it. Because I do think it's important. Um, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like, I think that's I feel like that's a defining thing. I feel that disconnects us from other generations of time, especially younger ones, because we were allowed, outside of other circumstances that sometimes some of our peers wasn't able to experience, we were allowed to be in that moment of our age at that time and enjoy it. And we may here and there look forward to a graduate. We look forward to pivotal moments, but I don't feel like we were as much in a rush to be like, I'm ready to be grown. Like I don't, I mean, some parents probably like, you just trying to be grown, you ready to be grown. But it's like, no, I just want to kick it and do what I want.
And now that I think about it too, they're also competing with stuff like TikTok or like YouTube. Like I used to have students, or I have like little cousins that will literally just watch YouTube or TikTok all day. They don't even really watch TV like that. They'll watch their favorite gamer playing their favorite game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's some good storytelling out here in the world. Go watch that. And they're like, no, I don't really want to watch that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. It's definitely, different. I feel like, we just had a longer attention span when it came to our entertainment, and things have gotten shorter and shorter to now. Like the joke is, you'll scroll around all day, and instead of watching that hour and a half to 2 hour movie, you would rather binge a whole show and spend that exact amount of time
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So, well, cool. Well, I do hope it gets better. I thought it was really cool to kind of get your thoughts on that and what you would pick or whatever, and stuff. But
Because I've
anyway,
been thinking, like, when these kids get older, what are the shows that they're gonna be like? This is iconic. You gotta watch this. This taught me this. And it's like, I hope not. Some of these shows that's out. You
power,
know.
power, euphoria,
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff that kids can't even watch until they should be grown, but ain't no telling what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna be a unique time. But maybe I can be a part of changing that one day. We'll see. We'll see.
That
So
would definitely be something hard to change. Like I mean, obviously I don't watch Disney Channel anymore, so but I feel like adults always knew. As a kid, I felt like adults always knew what was popular on
yeah,
Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. And it's like I have no clue. Like
yeah.
they don't build those shows or build those stars up like they used to.
One thing I will say, is I feel like if you kind of just if you all you have to do is just find the right setting and the right character that's very unique,
Yeah.
but ground it, but not make it as generic. And I feel like building off that character can ultimately lead to doing that. Because say for instance, I feel like, Blood and Water, like it's slightly a little bit on the mature side.
Mm-hmm.
Blood and Water, I feel like, especially thinking about the arc of like, who was the person who's recording the I forget her name, but she was the one that was really liking Wade. But like that whole arc of finding out who was recording her, who was talking about her on social media, like that's
Mm-hmm.
that space, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you kind of think about those type of themes, then it is possible to, be able to do what you need to do. So
The only show that I can think of that's kind of like not too crazy, like I think the show on Netflix, Never Have I Ever, does a good job of kind of being in between of like what we experienced when we were younger, and but also trying to appeal to this other audience that likes a little bit more raunchy. Because like Never Have I Ever, she, for example, she cussed in front of her mama. The shows we grew up watching, we ain't cussing in front of her. We don't do that. But then there's also like moments of like lessons, and like honestly, Never Have I Ever is a long show about, or a long series about mental health and healing from grief and stuff. And you get a little bit of that, but like I said, it includes like those Gen Z elements in it as well. And so I think that's probably like the closest show that we have that is reminiscence of what we grew up with.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I haven't checked it out, but it's definitely on my watch list, and it seems like it's pretty entertaining. Got a lot of good
That's
energy.
funny.
So, well, cool beans, Blaze. Well, I think this was another good one as far as just talking about something different. Next week we're going to be going into our 20th episode.
The big 2-0.
Big 2-0. So really excited about that. I don't know if we want to do anything special or not, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So, but anyway, y'all, it's been great. As always, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media. Let us know if you have any topics that you want us to discuss. But with that being said, we're going to get ready to head on now, and we hope that y'all have a good rest of the night or day or afternoon. Peace, y'all.
Peace.